Hello everyone, you're watching this do-it-yourself channel, and today we have 2012 Ford F150 and we will be replacing rubber boots on the rack, power steering rack and pinion. The old one are gone, they cracked, so we will replace with the new one. All the parts and tools in the link under the video. Check those out, but we will get started. So first of all, we will remove the wheel. To get the wheel off, we use 19mm socket and electrical or battery powered Milwaukee impact. Great tool in a shop. Tons of torque. Worth every penny. Check the links in the description for the tools. Otherwise, you can just use a regular wheel wrench. Sometimes they might get stuck, so we'll just use sledgehammer and go around on the rubber piece. Don't hit the disc. Okay, so here's the boot that we will be replacing. So we'll need to get this nut loose, get the tie rod end out. So we will wire brush this, spray it with some WD-40, as well as we will need to remove the tie rod end from the wheel knuckles. So same way, clean this thread, apply some WD-40. Okay, so first of all we need to get this lock nut loose. You don't want to apply too much pressure, you don't want to damage your ball joint, so you will have one wrench just to hold it and another one to push it, get it released. It's quite tight, what I actually expected, so we'll use hammer and hopefully we can get this done this way. Now it's loose. So as soon as it's loose, next thing we want to do, we want to count threads. Since this will impact the wheel alignment, we need to count the threads where we'll need to get this nut back, because we will need to remove the old boot and most importantly put the new boot on. This nut has to come out, so we will count those threads. So you might need to use like a knife. So either a knife or a small screwdriver will work fine, but basically we count threads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 threads. Normally when you remove all those pieces, you will see where the rust starts, but it's important to know the exact number. 13, that's where we will be aiming to get it back to. Next we will remove tie rod nut. And that was 21mm socket. To get the tie rod off, you need to apply few good slams to the wheel knuckle, and then most likely push this a little bit up. So let's move my camera away. Like that. Also, it's a good idea to use ear protection when you're hammering, because that will get loud. So next we will go ahead and we'll grab the outer rod to hold it, and then we will be spinning this piece. So this, considering that this outer rod is sticking out, it's all rusted, it's not like it's in a small vehicle where it's inside of the tie rod. There might be some difficulties to get it off, but in general it should move not too bad if you clean it and put some penetrating oil. So I will just keep going until it's all the way out. Okay, it's quite close now, so it's going by hand. And you want to check your tie rod too. If it's not in good condition, probably a good time to replace it. This one is still good. So next we will use 24mm socket, and we'll get that nut off. And just to make sure you have counted the threads, we have 13 on that end. So the nut is off. Next we'll use pliers to get this clamp off. Try to get this piece off. It's hard. All this rubber is super hard now. So I'll just try to grab pliers and get this removed. Next, we need to cut the hose clamp on the other end of the boot. See, like this piece. Just want to make sure that you have focus. So we need to cut this hose off. Get this removed. Okay, here's the boot. It's hard as stone. Next, I will take a little bit of time to go around and clean this outer or inner rod with brake clean, just to get as much rust out as we can. Okay, so now when everything is clean, we'll go ahead and apply some multi-purpose grease to the inner rod. We'll spin it just to get the grease inside as much as we can, as well as we have cleaned up this gear. So we will make sure that we apply some grease to it too. Depending where the boot broke, our one was kind of on this side, so that gear was not impacted too much, just some dust and sand on this part. In general, you want to make sure that it's nice and clean. There is no foreign objects like sand, dust, mud, water. So we'll try to grease this up as much as we can. We don't need to be too crazy about this part, as long as there is grease. Alright. Okay, so here is the new boot. I will leave a link in the description for this boot. It comes with two zip ties, one for the front, one for the back. For the front, we actually will reuse that metal clamp. I like them way more. So for this clamp or zip tie, we'll get it started, so we don't need to struggle with that later on. Just put it on, just like that. And slide it over. We might put some grease on this part, just so that rubber slides easily. So now you just gently push it on. So for this front piece, there is like a groove. This groove over here. So that's where the front of the boot should be. And then we just get the back side on. So right now I have this steering wheel turned in towards myself, so it's expanded all the way, so I'll just push it back a bit. So now when the steering wheel was turned into opposite direction from where we work, is basically pushing the boot on itself. So now we just need to make sure that that zip tie sits where it's supposed to sit, and then grab pliers, grab that zip tie and get it tight. As tight as we can. Very often when we do this, it will just break. But for now, I'll just pull it back, check if it stays on, and it does stays on. So we can grab the side cutters and cut the rest of the zip tie off. So next, we will grab that clamp. We will slide it on, but we won't put it on for now, because like if we put, when we turn this inner tie rod, it will put pressure on the boot, but if the clamp is not on, it will spin inside the boot, and that's what we need for now. So at this point, we will apply some anti-seize on our thread. And as I mentioned, there will be references, links for parts and tools and shop supplies in the description under the video, so check those out. Next, we will need to put the nut, the lock nut, back on. And when you check the nut, you'll see this shiny surface and rusted surface. So the rusted goes towards the engine, the shiny goes towards the outside. Doesn't really matter, its thread is the same, but I just like to keep things as they were originally. We will use our impact to speed up this process. And as you remember, we need to leave 13 threads. And now, actually, when it got to the point, you can see it wanted to shift to spin the in rod, because the thread was not used before, so it's not doesn't want to go. So now we will just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. So we are where we want to be. So that's the only reason why I didn't want to clean the thread all the way, because I was expecting that that nut will stop exactly where we want it to stop. Otherwise, I would go ahead and clean the thread. So now we will just reinstall the outer rod. It's going quite nicely so far. So that's where I said. So basically we want to spin. In this case we want the ball joint, the tie rod to be in this position. So we need the inner rod to be able to spin inside, so we'll just place it back into the knuckle. Okay, I have expanded, I have turned the steering wheel again, and this is another way to check if it sits properly. So now we need to make sure that that lock nut is tight. So you just go clockwise on that. That was tight. Another thing that I would like to do is to apply some anti-seize on this end of the rod, so next time when we remove it, it's not rusted, just greasy. Next we will reinstall the nut. And we will torque it to 85 foot-pounds. Just want to make sure that my torque wrench is set properly. That's 85. And we are pretty much done with the... Oh no, sorry. My bad. Wanted to rush. We still need to put this clamp back on. So we'll grab pliers, squeeze that clamp on. Now we're done. The last part would be to install the wheel and torque all the wheel lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds. But I will be replacing the lock actuator on the wheels, so I will just proceed with that. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and as always, just do it yourself. Take care, guys.